How are you? Dr. Rufai. Did you see that circular from Ghana where they said you should not call people doctors that were honored or the honorary doctorate?
I don't believe in
I see people that say doctor.
I'll always be Rufai.
You know, I always say good morning, Dr. Abati. So I just thought, and I remember that you were given an honorary doctorate degree. Rufai on fire. Good morning.
How are you? Even if I go to do a PhD, I will not need you to.
I wanted to take that.
Okay.
Correct, guy.
Yeah.
I wanted to take that story, but I thought it was quite funny. They said, don't give people doctorate degrees if they did not earn it, right? Well, all right.
Yes, go through to get those PhDs.
Yes, it's really hard.
Understand.
Good morning. How are you this morning? Vimbai, our favorite Nigerian. Good morning, our international correspondent. How are you this morning?
Okay,
fantastic. We're missing Dr. Abati today. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending. Now, we're receiving reports that former President Muhammadu Buhari was recently admitted to an intensive care unit at a hospital in the United Kingdom after falling ill during a medical checkup trip to London. Well, according to Empowered Newswire, citing a close relative, Buhari was discharged last week and is currently recuperating in London. Meanwhile, Garba Shehu, former senior special assistant on media and publicity to Buhari, speaking ahead of the launch of his memoir, according to the president, Lessons from a Presidential Spokesperson's Experience, stated that Buhari left office broke, but with his integrity full intact. Shehu emphasized that no one can credibly accuse Buhari of accepting bribes during his 8-year tenure. Let's take a look before we take a reaction.
Integrity of Buhari, how did it differ? As I said, you had integrity. Well, let me not preempt the content of my book. No, so that you will buy it. Otherwise, I'm not going to make a full disclosure. But did I tell you? I said, this book is about what did he even eat? What did he wear sometimes? He thought Buhari will appear for interview. What would he wear? Or the gift, somebody offers him exotic kind of gift. What did he do? Did he take or did he reject? I don't want to preempt the content of my book. But his lifestyle exemplifies personal integrity. And I'm happy that nobody, up to today, nobody can say, I've given bribe to Buhari. There's corruption in the country. There was corruption in our government. I know there is corruption. However, as a person, Buhari was above all of that.
All right, Rufai, Garba Shehu here saying that he doesn't want to preempt the content of his book. I don't know if you remember one time we talked about wanting to read Buhari's memoir. We were urging the president to actually write a book, but I guess it would be nice to see some of the content of his book. But let me just take a reaction, and then before I come to you. This is from Olufemi, who wrote, Garba Shehu, the former spokesperson to ex-President Buhari, recently claimed that the Buhari administration ushered in a culture of personal integrity in governance. One cannot help but question whether Mr. Shehu truly comprehends the meaning of the word integrity. This is the same administration under which over 3 trillion naira was printed and squandered with little accountability. To speak of integrity in such a context is not only intellectually dishonest, but an affront to the sensibilities of the Nigerian people. Garba's habitual verbosity, often detached from substance, renders his declarations more farcical than factual. Well, Garba Shehu appeared on our nightly news program, Newsnight, where he claimed that President Buhari had his personal style and did not like media chats, preferring instead for his work to speak for him. He stated that Buhari admitted to being slow and even joked about it. However, he maintained that Buhari followed due process, noting that Nigerians are impatient. Shehu also addressed Buhari's perceived aloofness, saying that the former president was very aware of the state of the nation during his time in office. Let's take a look.
This thing about Buhari being unaware, it is totally misplaced. If you permit me, I would say that he perhaps would pass as the most aware president Nigeria has ever had. And I give you this example. I said, when we started with him, because I was coming from, as you said, a Atiku campaign, we would pack newspapers in the morning. We'll go to Buhari's house for breakfast, and then tell him that this is what the radio stations have said, this is what we picked on the talk shows, and this is what the newspapers are saying. Believe me, by the time you got to him, he would have read ahead of you. And I used to say this, and people thought I wasn't serious. I was saying that if Nigerians knew the fastest way they could get to the president at that time with a problem, it was not to go through the civil service who write memo and file and go to the press, talk to the television.
All right, Buhari, the most aware president. You know, we used to have those pictures of Buhari with his toothpick in a picture, and the cartoonist made viral. But I mean, your thoughts on everything Garba Shehu has said?
Okay.
You
know why I'm laughing?
Go ahead.
Garba Shehu forgets that this is just 8 years ago. We were here. We were here. 2.5 years ago. Okay. Maybe I'm fast forward there. We were here.
Yes.
We experienced Buhari. Most aware Guinea. You know, I'm sure he wanted to say aware, not aware. Aware is fasting. It's different from aware. What was he aware of? Was he aware of the corruption scandal that heralded COVID and allegations here and there? He was aware. What about the economic impropriety where we printed over how many trillion in ways and means?
Yeah.
Was he aware? What about the insecurity and the economic decadence? Was he aware?
I assure you, he was aware.
He was aware.
Yes.
And you see this attitude of saying he wasn't corrupt, but there was massive allegations of corruption under him. Let me read headlines today for you. Be here. Garba Shehu say aware. Buhari was aware. This not me reporting or the cable, online newspaper reporting. A witness of EFCC has narrated how the former aviation minister awarded contracts to his relatives. Awareness. He was aware of Nigerian Air. You know how we condemn Nigeria. Didn't Festus Keyamo, that served in Buhari's cabinet, when he came to Tinubu's cabinet, he said, no, I'm not going to go ahead with Nigerian Air Wahala. So, does that make him aware? You see, this attempt at revisionism, to be able to gaslight us into telling us that what we know before we don't know. Is this not the same Garba Shehu that had to apologize after the killing of farmers in Zabamari for misconstruing numbers? Does he think we've forgotten? So you are telling us he was aware. He was aware, so we were the stupid ones. We don't have sense. I'm not surprised though. They will come. They will push every attempt forward at revisionism. But it no go work. Because we here will be the chroniclers of history. He was aware. He was so much aware and NSAS happened. Is it because we covered that? We forget in a hurry NSAS happened under Buhari. And the atrocities and the mayhem that happened there. Oh, that was aware. But you know what hurts me the most about Nigeria? Where we think Nigeria can be going better, it keeps getting bad. President Tinubu has come in now, and when you compare economic parameters, people will even compare that things were even better under the same Buhari that we said he squandered everything than President Tinubu. Right. That is an ongoing administration. That's the pain I have with the country as we speak today. Because the livelihood of people through the devaluation has gotten worse off. Interest rates all-time high. Businesses are complaining. So the question is, when are the average Nigerians going to get a reprieve? That's just my question. But please, don't gaslight us.
Yeah, I mean that's the rhetoric online about
when we're telling him to speak up during NSAS for how many days? Did he speak up?
Yeah. He also talked about the fact that, Buhari didn't want to give out media chats because, he wanted just his work to speak for him as well. You saw that conversation as well, Vimbai, quickly on that. But Garba Shehu's book, we really need to see it.
Yeah,
we really need to read it.
Yes. We can't wait to read it. First of all, I wish the former president a speedy recovery.
Yes, that's the
and I hope he'll be able to. I know how much he loves being in his country home, so I hope he'll be able to return home soon and enjoy good health. But at 82, of course, we know that there will be that majority of people are struggling to feed 3 square meals. So there should never be any context that a former president of Nigeria who enjoys a pension, who enjoys homes that are maintained by the state, and all of the perks that a former president enjoys, there is no context we should ever refer to such a person as broke, because that's an insult to the people who are struggling to pay rent, to the people who are struggling to pay transport, to the people who are struggling to buy tomatoes and pepper have gone up again and all of that. So just for that. As for, well, the president doesn't like to do media chats and so forth, I think it's very important moving forward when we select our leaders to ensure that we push for that accountability. It's no longer about your personal sensibilities. You belong to the nation. Once you're there, it's no longer about, oh, you know, these are my personal preferences and so forth, especially when accountability is at stake. There are several things that people wanted to hear from the president directly in those 8 years under President Buhari, but he was a rare commodity, a scarce commodity. You seldom got to hear from it. So it's great that he's writing this book, but I think most Nigerians are saying, well, we wish we could have seen and experienced this for ourselves as a president who was readily available to interact with his people, as opposed to us having to read a second-hand account from one of his advisors. So I don't think that's a virtue. I don't think that's something that must be whitewashed. And I think that I hope that people continue to learn their lessons. President Tinubu, we have to give him credit. He's certainly much more present and much more ready to interact. But moving forward, I think we need to continue to press for more interaction.
Yes.
There was advocacy for a State of the Nation address. That should come.
Yes.
We just want to see a president who is ready to interact with people so that it goes a very long way in building transparency and accountability.
Well, all right. Well said, Vimbai. We'll take another story now. The Zamfara state government has debunked a viral video featuring a man who was kidnapped by bandits, claiming to be the brother of the state governor, Dauda Lawal. In the video, the man is forced to beg for ransom and to say that he's the governor's brother. However, the governor's spokesperson confirmed that Dauda Lawal has only one sibling, who is a woman, not a man. He further stated that the incident represents a new tactic by bandits to gain attention and boost their members' morale. The distressed state of the victim in the video, according to the spokesperson, also showed that they were forced to make false claims under duress. I saw this video, I was quite alarmed. Adefemi Akinsoya, I was like, hey, a governor's brother can be kidnapped as well in this country. And then there was another Twitter user who went out to detail whether or not the governor was going to the camp. What is all of this? What's happening? Is he going to, cower down? But this really got me because I actually thought it was real. But It's good that the spokesperson has come out to debunk it, that Dauda Lawal has only one sibling and is a woman. Your thoughts on it? And the fact that, this banditry and kidnapping is so rife.
This is it. Well, on its face, it's a good thing that this fake news has been debunked and that it's clear that the governor's sibling is not the person in the video. However, it doesn't speak to or even take away from the seriousness of insecurity that we're seeing across this region in the country. So even though this person, this individual is not actually the governor's brother, there are still questions about, many people find themselves in these situations and it should be taken as seriously as if it were the governor's family member. So a question now is what the state government is really going to do in terms of making people feel safe in Zamfara. Of course, we don't even know what the reality of this situation is. Are all of these people is this a true depiction of what has happened? Yes, we've been able to debunk that he doesn't have any relation with the governor, but is this person truly under duress or is he also participating in some sort of joke? We don't know what is happening, but what we do know is that insecurity remains a huge issue and there have to be the resources dedicated to tackle it properly because everyone deserves to be safe, whether you're a relation of the governor or not.
Well said, well said. We'll follow up on the story and we hope that this man, I hope that it's not just a game like, the spokesperson had said, a tactic. We hope that this man is, actually brought out safe and sound. That's why I thought it was important to highlight this video for our security forces to look into it. Let's head over. I'll quickly take the story in River State, Rufai. We head over to Rivers State now, where the proposed 1.48 trillion naira 2025 budget presented by the state's administrator, Ibok Ete Ibas, has come under scrutiny by the House of Representatives ad hoc committee. The committee is probing allocations such as the 24 billion naira allocated for CCTV, 30 billion naira allocated for gunboats, and 23 billion naira for contingency funds. The committee noted that the absence of a medium-term expenditure framework, a legally required document, and questioned the state's funding of federal projects without reimbursement plans. They also requested information on the state's internally generated revenue for the past 3 months and the management of funds transferred to local governments. Andrew Nweke, Senior Special Assistant on Strategy and Policy, explained that many budget items were inherited and reflect the priorities of Rivers citizens based on needs assessment. This is Ibok's budget that he presented. Rufai, we are seeing this sort of alarming allocation. How much was it? 24 billion naira allocated for CCTV. Please, what is happening here in this? I mean, is it this one that was inherited? But we will need some more clarification, especially this allocation for these. I mean, kudos to the ad hoc committee for actually probing this budget at this point quickly.
Listen to this.
Yes.
Audrey, please listen carefully.
I want to listen. Go ahead.
On the 30th of December 2024, Premium Times reported Fubara presents 1.18 trillion 2025 budget.
Yes.
Then state of emergency happened. How many months after? 2 to 3 months after. Then Ibok presents 1.4 trillion.
Correct.
So they added over 300 billion on top of what Fubara had presented before. So the rightfully elected governor,
yes,
even if you said they had court cases, they had shenanigans, he had no right to present to 3 people and all of that, presented 1.1 trillion. The illegal aberration called the sole administrator, and I'll keep saying, Ibok Ete is an aberration to our constitution. Let's stop deceiving ourselves. Yeah. The aberration to our constitution, called a sole administrator, business state of emergency, is now presenting over 300 billion more on the budget. Then the aberration to our constitution is now saying they want to use 24 billion to be able to do CCTV camera.
Modern surveillance. That's
Modern
what they
surveillance.
said. For government
the aberration
house.
to constitution now
like
say that they want more money for gunboats. The question is, what does an aberration want to see about the budget of Rivers State? Stop deceiving ourselves. Yeah. The aberration to our constitution, called a sole administrator, business state of emergency, is now presenting over 300 billion more on the budget. Then the aberration to our constitution is now saying they want to use 24 billion to be able to do CCTV camera.
Modern surveillance. That's
Modern
what they
surveillance.
Said. For government
the aberration
house.
to constitution now
like
say that they want more money for gunboats. The question is, what does an aberration want to see about the budget of Rivers State that the truly elected governor of Rivers State has not said?
Question. All right.
So I'm not surprised, and I think the National Assembly should drill them very well.
Yes, absolutely.
And like Mr. Femi Falana said today, our court should please rule on this state of emergency matter. We should stop saying it's already academic when it's restored, because to avoid aberrations like this. So as far as I'm concerned, the National Assembly should interrogate further. But I don't like talking about constitutional aberration, because me sitting here and talking about a budget presented by an illegality is an illegality itself.
They said that the contingency reserve is for emergencies like flooding.
Flooding, okay.
And
so the,
you know what,
the legal governor did not know that there were things like flooding.
Right, all right.
Okay.
Well, he has 48 hours to present the documents to prove some of these allocations, but they need to be